on, everyone? Today I'm doing a video about the top 5 things that I hate about my Cobalt Super Sport. I'm doing this to kind of follow the recent trend that YouTubers have been doing, kind of telling the top 5 things or 10 things, whatever, about the things that they love and hate about their rides. So I figured I'd do it about my own personal car. Now, these are pretty much just nitpicky things. I absolutely love this car to this day. From the day I bought it to now, I love this car. So these are just really kind of fun, nitpicky things that I dislike about it. So starting off with number 1 is the interior. Now, this is definitely mid-2000s GM interior. It is made from the crappiest plastics ever. Now, I'm all for using plastics in cars. It's cheap, lightweight, doesn't get much better than that. But when you use the crappiest stuff, it looks bad, it sounds bad, it feels bad, and just doesn't give the interior a nice feel whatsoever. Overall, the interior, I mean, it's got a good look to it. It's simple. The sort of red and black two-tone combo that they did definitely gives it a much sportier look. So I love that, but just the general feel and quality just isn't that great. And, you know, getting inside newer GM cars, like the Cruze or whatever, it's night and day. They have way better interiors, and I wish that's what these cars had. So moving on to the second thing is the air conditioning. Now, air conditioning works absolutely fine. It runs, blows cold, so no issues there. But the problem with this car is that it's just a 4-cylinder engine and everything's belt driven. So it's a supercharged motor, so it's got a big roots type blower that the engine is constantly powering with the belt. So once you turn on the AC, now that's another thing that the engine is trying to power. So the combination of all of those things really bogs down the car, and accelerating around town is really difficult. It just has no pickup whatsoever, and it causes tons of vibrations, and it's just overall not a great experience. Using it on the highway, when you're cruising on the highway, works absolutely fine, so that's good. But around town, you pretty much always have to ride with the windows down. So for me, I do that anyway. I love driving with the windows down, so you know, it's a perfect match for me. But on the really humid days is when it's pretty bad, and no fun there. So number 3 that I hate is the lack of power from the factory. Now, the motor in this car, the LSJ, is an incredible motor. It's been considered in the 4-cylinder world as one of the greatest, right up there with the 4G63. Thing's practically bulletproof, but with the current blower that's on the car, you can only get it to about 300 horsepower, and then you're limited by the size of that blower. So you either gotta, if you want more than that, you either gotta swap to a larger blower or do a turbo swap. So but right out from the factory, these cars produce about, like, most people say it averages around 215 horsepower, which is a good amount. A lot more than your average typical economy car. It is supposed to be a sport compact car, so has a little bit of power there. But when it first came out, that number just does not stand a chance to all of its other competition, especially like the SRT4 and stuff like that. So GM did offer optional stage kits that you could buy and have installed, which, you know, I understand the automotive industry, it's a business, it's a money-making business. They got to make money to stay in business, so I can see why they offered those as an add-on. But I wish from the get-go it would have had more power, since it can be made. It can easily be made. You can have easily 260 or whatever horsepower, and I wish it wasn't something that me and many other owners didn't have to put money into when it could have just came that way from the factory. So that's just kind of one of those things that I wish they would have done. Number 4 would have to be the horrendous wheel gap that is apparent on all Cobalts. I know that engineers design suspensions and things like that for specific reasons, but these cars have a raked stance as it is, where the rear end sits higher than the front, and that's just evident in the way the body was designed, the flow of the bodywork and things like that. Naturally has a raked stance, but the massive wheel gap doesn't help whatsoever. You could probably fit your head in the back, the rear wheel gap. That's how much there was, and I wasn't a fan of that. Wasn't a fan of that at all. So I installed lowering springs. I did a review of those, the B&G lowering springs. That's on my channel if you're interested in watching that. And it completely eliminated all wheel gap, so the car looks absolutely awesome. But however, I will be changing my setup here pretty soon. I will have more info on that in another video. But again, the stock wheel gap is just terrible. Absolutely terrible. So I got rid of that real quick. And last but not least, number 5 would be the lug pattern, or the bolt pattern of the wheels. Now, I don't mind the stock wheels whatsoever. They're just a simple 5-spoke design. They look absolutely great on the car. But it would be kind of nice maybe someday down the road to switch it up, spice it up a bit, change out the wheels. But the problem with these cars is they have a 5x110 bolt pattern, which that bolt pattern, there is not a lot out there for that one. It is such an uncommon bolt pattern that there's hardly any wheel options. So if you're looking to buy aftermarket wheels, you either have to have your hubs re-drilled to whatever bolt pattern you want to go to, or run the route of getting wheel adapters, lug adapters, whatever you want to call them, and those can kind of be sketchy. So either way, you got to put in more money if you're wanting to buy new wheels, and that's just kind of annoying. So if you strike out and can't find a wheel that has a 5x110 bolt pattern, because they are few and far between, there's not very many options out there, then you have to spend even more money to figure out a way to install a different lug pattern wheel. So not fun, not fun. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, these were the 5 things I hate or just kind of dislike about the Cobalt Super Sport. I will be making a video about the 5 things I love about this car, because at the end of the day, I absolutely love it. So I'd love to share those things with you as well. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and have a good day.